Hi, grade 10s. Please go on to Moodle and download under the Romeo and Juliet section the note that says Lit Essay Practice. Right, so we have done poetry essays in class, so literature essay is not very different. So please refer to my first video that just explains the literature essay, and now we're going to practice it ourselves. Right, so if you look at the bottom of the note, there is a practice essay. And what it says is the major theme in the play Romeo and Juliet is love. In an essay of 300 to 350 words, discuss 3 different types of love in the play. So the first thing you need to do is you highlight the keywords. So here it's major theme and love, and then 3 different types. Those are your keywords. Then what you do is you go and you take those keywords and you put them onto your mind map or a table or however you like to do it. So I'll just show you an example. This is my mind map here, and I wrote in the middle 3 different types of love in Romeo and Juliet, and then I came up with some ideas. There's forced love, there's family love, there's forbidden love, there's love at first sight or romantic love, and then there's infatuation. Those are all the ideas that I came up with. So then what you do is you need to fill those in. You need to think about all the things you can that relate in the book, so characters and themes and events that relate to those. And once I did that, I found that my main arguments were forbidden love, family love, and infatuation. Those are the 3 that I chose. So now that I know what I'm going to write about, I can do the introduction. So please have a look at what we need to put in the introduction. And then this is what I came up with. So the first part is I need to restate the argument, and I must mention the play when I do that. So I said, in the play Romeo and Juliet, the major theme is love. When I wrote Romeo and Juliet there, I made sure to underline the name, which is Romeo and Juliet. So here I've stated what the topic is, and I've also mentioned the play. Then I have to mention my arguments. There are many different types of love, especially these 3, which are forbidden, family, and infatuation. So now I've got my introduction. I've also stated my arguments. So I've stated the topic, I've named the play, and I've mentioned my arguments, which are the 3 things that we need to do. Then I need to take these 3 arguments now, and I need to make them into arguments in the body. So I need 3 different paragraphs. Remember, you need 5 paragraphs. You've got the introduction, we're going to do 3 in the body, and then we're going to have a conclusion. The other thing you need to know is that your essay is 300 to 350 words, which means you should come out at about 1.5 pages. Right, so when you do the arguments in the body, for each argument, you must use the Sir or the Peel method, whichever one you find easier. So I'm going to explain one of my arguments, showing both the methods. So my first argument starts like this. One type of love in the play is forbidden love. That is my point in the Peel method, or my state in the Sir method. Then I explain what I mean by this point, which is the first E in the Peel method. It's not really in the Sir method. And I said forbidden love is love that is not allowed, and this is the love between Romeo and Juliet. So now I've explained what my point or my statement is. Now is the most important part. I need to illustrate, if you're using the Sir method, or elaborate if you're using the peel method, which is the second E. So, I'm using characters here because it's easier. The theme is already there, the theme of love. So, I said what makes the love forbidden one is that Paris is actually supposed to marry Juliet. This is a kind of forced love, and it makes the love between Romeo and Juliet forbidden. My second elaboration was the families really hate each other, so this would make it impossible for Romeo and Juliet to get together. I also said that the fact that their marriage is such a secret shows that it is forbidden, because if it was not forbidden, then we wouldn't need to have such a big secret. I also said that I went into quite a bit of detail about the friar's reasoning for the marriage to try and bring the families back together. And if the love was not forbidden, this would not be necessary. One thing that's very important when you're doing your arguments is you try and put a quote in there because it shows you really know the book. So you could say something like Juliet says, "My only love sprung from my only hate." And you could also do a quote from Friar when he's, doing his plans. So you can find quotes. And as you're doing your summaries and things, if you write down some quotes, then you can actually memorize them and use them if you can. Things that I didn't mention in the first video is now that you've written an argument, you need to make sure that your style is correct. For example, you can only use the third person in this essay. So he, she, it, they. You can never use the word I or you. If you're doing that, you are doing something wrong. Because if you say, in my opinion, your tone is wrong. You must say everything like it's a fact. If you start saying, you know what forbidden love is, you are not using an academic style, and you sound like you're giving a speech rather. The other important thing is everything must be written in the present tense because you're writing about things as they're happening. Imagine you like a commentator. You may not use any contractions. That's also very important because it's a formal register. And if you find yourself using the word if in your essay, you are also doing a bad thing because you have to state the facts and prove your arguments. So if you use the word if this didn't happen, you're using hypothetical situations which are not the basis of arguments at all. Right, you need to do 2 more arguments there. I've just done one with you. And then in the conclusion, we need to summarize our arguments and also relate to the topic again. So, for example, I said there are many different types of love in the play Romeo and Juliet, including forbidden love, family love, and infatuation. And then I make a summarized statement. However, forbidden love is the driving force of the play, and that is why people still remember it today. So that's a concluding statement. Right, guys, these are not difficult if you know your book. And try and do this essay for me. Well, not try, do this essay for me because they are going to come up in your exams and they're going to be with you until the end of matric. Okay, guys, do well, keep doing your work, and ciao.